because the car was surrounded by vehicles,
Yes.
that the casualties have been limited, because the vehicles have taken the
They have
force
taken
and the
a,
shock.
yeah, they have been an
Because
obstacle kind of a thing.
had this been an empty street, and there were a lot of people walking around, one can assume the casualties would have been worse. Just hold your thought. I have more breaking developments coming in, because it's breaking developments, but here you're not getting the puzzle pieces. This car, this Hyundai car, I've just been told by one of my producers in my ear, that the police have found the car listed on the second-hand online platform called OLX. So, the Hyundai i20 car bearing the Gurugram license plate was listed on OLX for sale. Now, whether this was pre-sale or currently on sale is currently being identified. We are trying to pull out the advertorial which has been put out on OLX, but an interesting bit of information on the chain of ownership of this car, which it seems rather clear that the chain of ownership of this car was particularly bought for a purpose. No coincidences why a person in Pulwama would buy a car from Gurugram, that too a CNG car from Gurugram. No restrictions, pollution restrictions demanding CNG cars. J&K is not the place for CNG cars per se. So, it was clearly bought because of the license plate. It's pretty clear. There you have it. That's the OLX advertorial of this car being sold on your screens. So, this was the listing that was put. OLX, as most people would know, is a second hand sale platform where you can post anything, including vehicles and other materials. That's the car number 7674, HR26CE 7674. That's the advertorial. Now, coming back to my train of thought. So, you bought a car in Pulwama because it bears the Gurugram license plate, because Gurugram license plate is familiar to people, to police in Delhi. These are familiar license plates in Delhi, and that car goes to Pulwama, ends up in Faridabad, where on September 20th the challan is cut of this car, and then ends up in this blast. So, I mean, if you wanted the Faridabad connection, the challan confirms it for you that the car was in Faridabad. So, I don't think too many more puzzle pieces need to be put together. Now, what does need to be found out is, as we've been discussing, what was the scope of the activities and what was busted at this point of time. Now, I'm being told that Prime Minister Modi is going to continue with his trip to Bhutan. He has to go there to inaugurate a hydroelectric plant. So, he is going to be departing Delhi and continuing with this official visit to Bhutan as we speak. Okay, raids are going on meanwhile in various parts of the country, including Jammu and Kashmir. Let me get General Mathur back in. General Mathur, now we are about, in fact, exactly 12 hours later, and it seems that we have managed to put together from the information being gleaned. The authorities, of course, know better than us, but we seem to have enough information in the public domain to put aside that this of the picture of what has happened. Pretty confident that this was all linked to the terror factory in Faridabad.
Absolutely, Rishabh. It was surely linked to terror factory in Faridabad. Now, the question, is that what has been busted so far? Was that all, or is there much more to come? And there are other places other than Faridabad factory where you have such kind of things going on. It is a much larger, I'm telling you, Rishabh, it's much larger, canvas than what is meeting the eye as of now. And it may have its linkages outside the country also. See, the point is, this is the place which is where you have a large number of people from Bangladesh. So maybe there are so many things happening in and around India and Indian territory that it can have linkages anywhere. Remember what Asim Munir had said, that next attacks will come from the east. So possibly, so many visits of so many people. So we can keep thinking and keep enlarging the canvas. But as of now, things are very clear. It was a meticulously planned, executed with intense technical precision strike, and whether it was a proper typical IED with many other things or not, it was a planned attack. And they probably must have said that, okay, let's do it, no matter whether we will be able to cause injuries because of sharpnels and because of nails and this, that, and the other. So this is a very, very well planned and executed with a lot of effort a thing blast in Delhi. And I am afraid that there is a little more, in fact, if not much more to it than as we see.
Just hold your thought. More breaking developments coming in. The forensic team has now stated that samples that are being taken for forensic examination are being used to identify what was the nature of the blast. So now samples are being collected and taken to laboratory. So we know that they've done the in situ on the spot analysis late last night, which is the chemical reagent analysis. Now they're of course continuing their forensic analysis. What they are trying to identify is matching the explosive with the recoveries that have taken place in Faridabad. Now, although the chemical component formula of ammonium nitrate is universal, when you convert and store ammonium nitrate, there can be other impurities which leave a signature in various batches. Now, these can be utilized to firmly link whether it was the same batch from the same godown, the terror factory in Faridabad, to what was used here. Now, is it 100% science? No, but is there a possibility of linking it? For sure. You have the one linkage, which is the car challan in Faridabad. You have now the testimony of the interrogation, rather, of the two terror doctors operating the terror factory, Adil and Shakil, and you have Tariq in custody in Pulwama, who's told you who this Muhammad Umar was, where he took the car, from where he took the car, putting the puzzle pieces. Brigadier Dhiman, now let me reverse the conversation for a second, because it now seems that what has actually happened is that we've prevented serial blasts taking place, not only in Delhi but potentially in Ayodhya, Mathura and other places around North India as well. Because if this is a reaction to the arrests, that they've blown up what they had, it is clearly evident that in the net, sir, I mean, look at it. We have Tariq, we have Adil, we have Shakil, we have Shaheen, we have Muhammad Umar. That's already 5 people in this net operating between Pulwama, Anantnag, Saharanpur, Faridabad, inside Chandni Chowk. So operating in several areas. This was a large enough net, and potentially if they had more time, they were planning something much bigger.
Rishabh, let me tell you on this, that once we are busy analyzing the forensic aspects to find out whether it was a blast of a bomb blast or a CNG blast, let me also tell you, all these 5 doctors that you named, they all belong to South Kashmir, from Anantnag, Pulwama and Kulgam. And there is a definite report that they have identified a Maulana over there, which is probably from Deoband, from Saharanpur, who have been radicalizing these benign guys, professionals, who are intelligent guys, who are scientific guys, who can probably execute things better. So that is one issue which is there. Then now you mentioned about the General Asim's statement, Muni's statement, when he said that we will do something deeper. Because what has happened is, after Article 370 gone, the security forces in J&K have been operating on a very, very efficient manner. And they are targeting every aspect, starting from the actual terrorists to the sympathizers, to the relatives, to their friends, to overgrown workers, to hybrid terrorists. All possibilities are being looked after. So thereafter, there is a collusion of ISI along with the IS module. And IS guys are already there in India in terms of infiltrating from Bangladesh, from Nepal, from Gujarat, from Rajasthan, from all over. And if you see, they have been there in Maharashtra, they have been there in West Bengal, Bihar, they have been there in Kerala, they have been there in Delhi itself. So all these guys are being investigated together. And that is how probably, I'm not very sure as yet, keeping my fingers crossed, we have heightened the security of all those places which are likely targets.
Okay.
Like you said, Mathura, Ayodhya, Katra, then all the RSS places, their political parties headquarters, etc., etc. So all these things are being worked out to find out that nothing more untoward happens, and the greater synergy, the greater module that has been working, which has been shifted out of Jammu and Kashmir to rest of the country, can also be located.
It's pretty clear what was happening. Serial blasts were being planned in North India. Almost 400 kilograms of explosives. You can convert that 20-30 bombs you can make out of that. Okay, at least 20-30 high explosive bombs. Literally, roughly with the same intensity of what we saw in Delhi. One got away. One man with one bomb, not fully complete, as has been pointed out, because the shrapnel and all encasement had probably not been fully done. But enough explosive material and the ability to detonate. One guy got away, and he knew the game was up because everybody else had been caught. So he could either run and try and hide, or he could blow it up, and he blew it up. So this was clearly a serial blast plan. Now more information coming in from what has been happening in Faridabad. Let's put it on our screens. This has happened since yesterday into today. Now this Dr. Shakil, one of the terror factory masterminds, now we are being told that 15 days before his arrest, okay, the raids that had taken place and materials that had been recovered, they included bomb making paraphernalia. 12 suitcases were found in the house. There was a bucket which had explosives, which was full of explosives. 20 timers, batteries, remote controls. He had 5 kilograms of heavy metal. Heavy metal is what the shrapnel is, and it can be anything. It can be ball bearings, it can be heavy nuts. He had walkie-talkies. Now, after the blast happened yesterday in Faridabad, in the Deher colony and Dhauj area, there have been further searches. The police have found an additional 2.5 tons of explosives, 2,563 kilograms of explosives. These have been found in Deher colony and Dhauj. These are also areas in Faridabad. So you have the original 390 kilograms, an additional 2.5 tons of explosives and flammable material has been recovered. Additionally, they have recovered Chinese made pistols, a Beretta, an AK-56 and a Krinkov rifle, and the ammunition for all of these weapons. The sheer volume of material, we are being told, points to large scale terror attacks that were being planned. 2.5 tons of explosives in addition to the 300 kilogram plus already recovered. So near about 3 tons of explosives, 20 timers, remote control detonators, heavy materials, flammable liquids. These guys very clearly, now when you're talking about tons of explosives, as we have learned from what has taken place in Jammu and Kashmir, these are not being used to make suicide vests. They are being specifically used to make car bombs. This is where you put a large amount of explosives in a car, drive it up to a location and blow it up, exactly as what has happened. Let me quickly get General Kochar back in. General Kochar, 3 tons of explosives.
Rishabh, you being an ammunition expert myself, I can tell you that these all ingredients, what you are actually mentioning here, lead to a preparation or a strategy for making bombs. And you said car bombs are actually very easier to plant and carry out an ID blast. the theory about ammonium nitrate, see, ammonium nitrate by itself does not make a bomb. It has to be mixed with a high explosive content. It actually gives the oxidizing effect. It
Yes.
actually gives the oxygen or to burn for that explosive. It gives you the impetus of that kind, and rapid decomposition is one of the qualities of ammonium nitride. And if you look at the Beirut bombing blast of 2020, this combination was used there. Almost 2,750 tons of explosives were used in that blast. So what we are actually getting at is ammonium nitrate is a dual use chemical. It is used as a fertilizer also, it is can be used as explosive also, and that is why it would be easier for them to obtain this. So my point here is that I think the NIA is also looking at it. We need to look at the source, from where have they got this. You know, it can't be drones dropping all over the place and all, because this theory I was listening on a TV channel yesterday. I really don't buy this drone theory to a large extent. Of course, some weapons and some ammunitions can be dropped by drone, but such a large explosive has to be gotten from within the country. So this is one line of investigation I would like to recommend, because there's no official statement so far as to the cause of explosion and the linking of ammonium nitrate. But I'm sure the way the investigations are going on a fast track right now, and the forensics are already onto it, it's a matter of couple of hours for them to tell us whether this chemical was used in this explosion or